Human height feels like something personal, but when you zoom out, it looks like a timeline, a quiet record of how the world fed, protected, and raised its children. So in this video, we're going to walk through the last 100 years, decade by decade, and see how average human height actually changed. Starting with the 1920s. In many Western countries, adult men born in this decade averaged around 170 to 172 centimeters, roughly 5'7" to 5'8", while women averaged about 160 to 162 centimeters, close to 5'3" to 5'4". This was a time of limited food variety, frequent infections, and physically demanding lives. Growth was possible, but conditions were tight. Moving into the 1930s and 1940s, data is really small from both of these decades. The heights did increase, but it's very insignificant change. The increase was slow because childhood nutrition was still inconsistent and economic pressure remained high. The height didn't jump, it just crept upward. The real shift begins in the 1950s. Post-war recovery brought better food access, cleaner water, and wider healthcare. Men born in this era often reached 174 to 176 centimeters, and women 164 to 166 centimeters. For the first time, height gains became clearly visible within a single generation. In the 1960s, the momentum continued. Men averaged around 176 to 179 centimeters, and women 166 to 168 centimeters. The vaccines, sanitation, and protein-rich diets supported growth more consistently than ever before. By the 1970s and 1980s, many Western countries were nearing their peak. Men commonly averaged 178 to 181 centimeters, while women averaged at 167 to 170 centimeters. These decades represent the strongest growth environments in modern history, not because genetics changed, but because childhood conditions stabilized. Entering the 1990s and 2000s, something interesting happens. In many developed Western countries, men stayed around 178 to 180 centimeters and women around 167 to 169 centimeters. This is what a plateau looks like. Once basic needs are met, height naturally stops increasing. But on the other side, the story looks very different. In South Korea, adult men born in the 1950s and 1960s averaged only around 165 to 167 centimeters, significantly shorter than Western averages at the same time. This wasn't genetics, it reflected limited nutrition and harder childhood conditions in the post-war period. As conditions rapidly improved, the change shows up fast. By the 1990s, South Korean men averaged around 173 to 175 centimeters, a jump of nearly 8 to 10 centimeters within just a few generations. After moving into the 2000s, averages climbed further to about 175 to 177 centimeters, and closing much of the gap with Western countries. Now, into the 2010s, Western averages remain largely stable. Men around 178 to 180 centimeters, women 165 to 168 centimeters, depending on region. Some countries show tiny shifts, but no major global jump. And finally, the 2020s. Data is still emerging, but early signs suggest no dramatic change from the 2010s in Western nations. In some tall countries, height has even slightly leveled or dipped, influenced by lifestyle patterns, population mixing, and health behaviors. But across all these decades, one thing stays constant. That the height is not a scorecard, it's more like a reflection of nutrition, safety, healthcare, and childhood stability.